Well, that was difficult to open.
Is it safe for me to come in now?
I suppose.
Alright. Hello.
Yes.
May I see? I understand that some of the armor can appear differently for everyone. Oh, isn't that gorgeous on you?
Isn't
How
it a
do you
bit
feel?
vain to compliment your own handiwork?
Like I said, the armor can appear on everyone differently.
Hmm.
For you, it's a gauntlet. For some, a helmet. Others, a chest piece. Hell, for some, it's just a ring.
Hmm. How that large thing would become just a ring? I
Yeah, it
suppose.
depends on the person.
Hmm.
Sometimes all they need really is enchantments, and that's understandable. All depends. That's all. But more importantly, how do you feel with your newfound gauntlet?
It feels.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I don't want to give you the satisfaction of a positive answer.
Oh, come on. We're on the same team here.
Are we?
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay, what would ease your mind? Hmm?
Hmm. Let's see.
What, is it the Archfey thing? I understand that'll unnerve a lot of people.
Guarantees not to steal my or any of my companions' names.
Ah, that. Okay, first off, understandable. Second off, Acrinian Fae don't work with names. We don't do that.
Hmm.
Don't tell people, by the way. I like to keep that little secret.
I won't tell people outside of the hearth.
Good, good.
But I do have my own people to protect in this.
Understandable. But yes, no, we may not deal in names, but we do deal in magic.
That feels more threatening somehow.
Don't worry, I don't just go around willy-nilly taking people's magic.
No. What do you do then?
You know, that depends on the deal people want to make, really.
And
That's
what?
the only ever time I ever take someone's magic. Consensually. Consent is hot, by the way.
Alright then. No. The gauntlet is beautiful.
Ah, thank you.
Hmm.
I understand that a lot of information has been thrown in everyone's way.
What? No. Only a confirmed afterlife for those with souls. That this effect is rippling into other realities that also exist. No, that's nothing to put on someone's plate.
Yes, well, to be fair, that part is not our fault. The
Hmm.
gods are supposed to tell you all that these things are real, that these things happen, and that they
Oh,
exist.
yes. The gods that I found out existed. Oh, what is the time measure for here? About 5 months ago.
Yes, well, again, not our fault. If they don't wish to show themselves in any way or prove they really exist, that's on them. It's a bit unfair to blame us for that, don't you think?
No,
Mm.
it just seems irresponsible of them.
Oh, more in agreement there.
But then again, if this is one of many, and only this world is doing this, then I suppose they are exceptionally bad at their jobs.
Oh, most certainly. Normally, gods don't. What's the term? What would be the correct comparison to this? Rebel like annoying teenagers?
Hmm. Interesting. And
These sort of things happen once, maybe thrice, upon every set of realities. Sadly, we just have to wait. We can't exactly prepare for gods deciding to not follow the script, so to say. After all, the gods are supposed to be helping their people. And based on what I've learned, there's the one of your realm that refuses to fall in line with that.
to be fair with how the world currently is, either they're all incompetent or in on this. But that's my opinion.
If it were up to me, personally, and the gods, I don't care. They're too annoying, too childish, too greedy.
Hmm.
They want everything for themselves and no one for them below. Has Oru told you yet, by the way?
About what?
About our absolute hate for gods.
It was evident before the awakening.
Yes, some personal grudges do creep through some of his homunculi time and time again. Can't stop that. Some things about people's personality you can't hide or filter.
You said this was a shell.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean if you get overly emotional, you'll end up in that catatonic state like Orin?
Oh, no. You see, his vessels have a set timer for waking back up.
And so far as you know, you're fully awoken.
Mm-hmm. That's how he prefers it. He wants to actually experience the mortal ways again. I personally don't. It's too much hassle, too much enchantments, too much magic to weave. Besides, why would I hide who I am?
I don't know enough about you to answer that question.
I'm a person who likes to get things done. I don't like waiting to start my work.
Interesting. And I suppose I currently am your work. From your perspective.
From my perspective, you are part of the team now. Like I said, we're on the same team. We want the same things.
I suppose.
Just like any of my patients, I wish to help this reality. Just need to start by cutting out the undesirable.
And how do you judge that?
Well, what is harming it? And so far in this reality, what's harming it is whatever is draining the magic from the other realms, from other realities,
I would
killing
agree
others.
on that assessment.
Exactly. Now we just need to find it and cut it out. Break whatever fancy toys someone decided to build.
I suppose so. I
Do you
didn't
have any
leave.
more?
I didn't leave you too long trying to figure out how to use this armor, did I?
Oh, no. Gave me a chance to look around.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
acquainting yourself with this world, then?
Oh, yes, I only did just get here.
What are your assessments on
Mm, it's funny how this realm has stronger magic than the other two.
it? Well, that much was readily apparent.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it would be evident that whomever's draining the magic, it's not in your convecture, it's not in the end.
No,
But, of course, there's no proof that's coming here yet either. Although there aren't any exactly other realms that we know of, so. Can't say yes, can't say no.
just the three, then.
Of course, that's standard. Some other realities do have others.
I recognize this is obvious information to you, but it is new to me.
Yes, and for that I do greatly apologize. That your gods can't do their job right. Hmm. Yes, it's rather disappointing, really. Like I said, the gods are meant to help. And they're doing kind of the last thing that they're supposed to be doing, really.
I don't particularly care if they were supposed to help. They haven't. And thus I don't hold them in high regard.
Well, I would say they haven't been. Just not you. Judging by the magic of three of the ones that were there, they do help. Just individuals.
I don't think that counts as helping for the power they're supposed to have.
Hmm.
Or
True.
perhaps they're blowing their power out of proportion. I don't know.
Well, either way, these are some of the more obnoxious bunch of gods.
Hmm.
Yes, the Elding has been trying to get in contact with them, but no one wants to answer, so.
And that's your boss, then.
That would be, yes.
Alright. Just trying to orientate myself in all this information.
Yep. The Elding! The boss man behind that grin. The boss man of me. The boss man of Oru. The boss man of May. The man who sundered us, gave us a new life. The Pharaoh of Souls, the Eldritch Horror himself.
Right. And
The being, the only being, that can judge a god.
perhaps not
As
the only
is
one that
his
can
god.
judge, but the only one who can enact upon it. Still, if we have our work ahead of us, we might be after that job.
Either way, the gods of this reality, if they are behind it, there will be repercussions for doing so. The gods are not immune to consequence. It just takes longer, that's all.
Yes, but the trick is making sure it happens in short enough time that this world still lives.
Hence is why we awoke in Oru. Hence is why I'm here. When things go ass up, we are sent.
Well, if we're supposed to be on the same team, is there anything I can do to better orientate you in this world?
Whom were those three, exactly? I mean, I've been watching some of Oru's Vessel's memories, but that doesn't really give me answers.
You'll need to explain which three you're talking about.
The two with the antlers, and the one made of ice that was slinking in the background.
Three
At
of
least I
five.
think it was ice. I think it was.
3 of 5 leaders of the large settlement here.
Oh. Interesting.
The one with green antlers is a magical construct and in charge of the city's medicine. The one with black antlers, in charge of the city's magic, seems to be some type of end folk. And the one of ice, well, I'd presume they're from here, considering their consistency. But I believe they're the leader of the Day Guard. As incompetent as those guards are.
Wasn't Oru put on that god?
A soldier without proper leadership. This isn't an insult to him, but rather the organization around him.
That's fair, that's fair. Hmm. Are there any others I should be on the lookout for as I stay here?
What would make someone worthy of being on the lookout for you?
Anyone that would pose a problem? Anyone that's under suspicion?
The Night Guard leader has a tumultuous relationship with his patron god of choice and seems to know something about the threats made against the city more than the others.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Hmm.
He was temporarily imprisoned by him.
Oh, yes, those memories are a little bit of a blur from Oru's vessel.
Yes.
Yes, when his filters started to degrade early, his memories started to become fuzzy.
I suppose that is the actual cause of his illness he had been experiencing.
Oh, yes, I do think I was explaining it a bit earlier. See, he wants to experience everything as a mortal does from birth, yada yada. So, to block out the real him, we use magical filters.
Yes. And carried the semblances of what would make him in that lantern. Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's the key to unlock the locks. We had to send it to him early. Normally, we don't wake him up until his vessel is age 50, whatever the halfway marker would be.
So I suppose it would really matter on the reality.
Mm-hmm. Or whomever his vessel accumulates to.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. This time round, his vessel accumulated to that of a human.
Yes.
I'm
Oh.
surprised it didn't accumulate to that drow. Or I guess it was starting to, but then it got infected with those golems.
The matter of Oro's birth aside.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll definitely be viewed with suspicion for the time being.
Oh, of course I will. I'm a fae. We always get that treatment.
As well as what Oro did to Favor.
Yes, that's inevitable. Nasty business, but like it was said, had to happen. Some things just need to be resolved. Yes, and we're still miffed that a certain individual got through a loophole, which we are trying to fix right now. Beforehand, we didn't even know that loophole existed. So I guess we should be grateful that Favor did this in a way. Because now we know that loophole exists.
Still not right to put the punishment on his head.
Yes, you're right about that.
I tend to be.
Mm-hmm. As it would seem.
Well, if you were watching through Oru,
In a manner of speaking.
I suppose you would have an opinion yourself.
Well, like I said, ever since his filter started to degrade, that would be the stopping point there. I did learn some things, but not enough. Things got more and more fuzzy as they degraded.
Until someone had attached too much anger, I suppose.
Ah, yes, that's when the real him came out. Surfaced. Not in exactly the best of ways, but...
And what happens to you when this is all done?
When this is all done, I trash this shell and go back to the garden and prepare a new one.
Interesting.
Oh yes, normally I save them. This one, however, I will not be saving. Because this was rushed. I mean, come on, look, I didn't even get to put a face on this one.
It's
You know how embarrassing
true.
that is?
You have an incomplete faceplate, yes.
It's embarrassing. I mean, really, I was putting so much work into it, and then the lantern had to be shattered.
You poor thing.
Look, if you're going to do something, do it right. And if you're going to show up to a new reality, impressions are important. Although it is a shame that I had to do all that for my first impression. I like a little more decorum.
I thought you were going to get Oru killed multiple times.
Well, didn't exactly have time to prepare. And given how much work I had to mend inside of that vessel, I needed time. Needed to keep people away from him long enough. For me to fix everything in that body.
If you could fix that one in that short amount of time, why can't you build yourself a face now?
Because of how long building a face takes. Then I'm also really picky with making my faces. True, we do share the same face, but still, I take pride in my work. Art is not rushed, after all.
I suppose. Never particularly a speciality of mine.
Yes, no, yours is more physical, I believe.
And tactical.
I do hope that Oru gets to help you with that beautiful brain of yours soon.
Yes, and hopefully his previous intent still shine through.
Of course.
You've probably seen him do this multiple times. How
Do
much
what
would
multiple times?
awaken?
This is his 6th or 7th vessel, but it's not the. It's only the 3rd successful vessel. You see, he doesn't need to wake up. Not always. Hell, the plan, for this one at least, was to actually not wake up at all. Like I said, when things fuck up, then we come here.
Well,
So if nothing gets fucked up, there's no need to wake him up.
in your assessment, how much of the unawoken personality and intent carries over to the awoken?
You see, that's the same personality, though.
Yes.
All the decisions, all of the wants, the desires, are all still him. We just suppress memories, that's all we do.
I suppose.
Memories, knowledge, things that we don't want gods to notice.
Well, it's good to hear from a slightly outsider opinion.
Yes, not all gods like the fact that we come by every now and again. Most are fine with it, others are not. Then there's the 5% that will kill us on sight.
Well, and how does that tend to go?
Oh, the Elden gets pissed when that happens. You see, the reason why we do this is for him.
Yes, your enforced employer of sort.
I wouldn't say enforced. He gave us an opportunity for penance, and we took it. We could have said no, but we aren't dumb enough to pass up that opportunity.
Regardless of the name, is there anything else you're wanting to know about this place?
Whom of which is the most suspected? Behind the magic being drained, at least.
Well, our gazes are currently set at the city leaders.
City leaders.
Yes.
Makes sense, makes sense.
Currently running a campaign of fear tactics and enforced magical warding about their city, as well as preparing things such as food stores in order for a siege. Of course, they don't say it as such, but if the people are confused and divided enough, you can get a lot of things done right under their noses.
Campaigning fear,
Yes, after they receive that threat, they've been using it as an excuse to... On a most surface level, they're claiming that the town of Nocturin is safe, and all that outside of it is dangerous. However, something that flat-faced is clearly baiting people into fear.
Interesting.
Simple propaganda.
Mm-hmm. If the threat were meaningless, they wouldn't have acted in such a way.
Exactly. No. It's also been determined that the method is at least some sort of device, rather than being channeled through a person or god directly.
Yes, I don't see a mortal being able to contain all of that by themselves.
No.
And if it were being channeled directly to a god, we would have known about it sooner.
Mm-hmm. Which leaves the like of devices, since this is clearly not a natural ebb.
Your assessment seems to be on the money, Alecto.
Of course it is. What? If you're allowed to be vain, I'm allowed to show some self-confidence.
Oh,
Aren't
don't
I?
worry, I'm agreeing with you, darling. After all, I did say that your mind is such a beautiful thing for a reason. Now it's only a shame I didn't come across gem blazes before.
No. There aren't particularly many of us left.
Well, here's hoping I come across more of your kind. It would be interesting to see.
Or rather that you don't, if you only appear in situations of such turmoil.
Well, I don't know. I like to go out sometimes. It gets boring being in the garden all the time. A spider has to stretch its legs every now and again.
I suppose. I'll be honest, I don't know much about the creatures.
Well, I can't exactly make a comparison. We're two very different species, so. Let's see. Oh yes, whom of which are allies? Actual allies.
By that, do you mean in this current attempt to stop the ebbing of magic, or those that I would protect?
Those that you trust to help us.
Well, firstly, Oru is obvious. It's a Ganymede left. I intend to bring Tenebris into this fray as well.
Tenebris.
The shadow creature.
Yes, well, I only get audio, so I don't know visual.
A slightly pompous accent with a tendency for radical thought and use of shadow magic.
Shadow magic. Interesting.
A little hard to avoid when all one is a shadow.
That is fair. Oh, radical though, that'll be interesting. It'll also pose a problem for only after the dust settles, but that's more of a later thing to worry about.
Well, if your worry is only the magic's flow, I'm sure you don't need to be worried about their ideas of revolution.
No, no. Now, is that revolution for here? Or
Their
different realm?
home.
Ah, different realm. I do presume a different realm, right?
Yes. The opposite side of the one that Oru grew up in.
Oh. Now let's see, what was that one called again? I don't remember. What? I may have been watching, doesn't mean I was paying attention. I do have my own job to do. Well, jobs.
Course. But still, that doesn't seem entirely in your purview here.
Hmm.
If, as you said, your main goal is stopping the destruction.
True. But one should always know who you're working with.
And I warned you as such.
I am grateful for that. Is there anyone or anything else I should know?
Many of the people here have intents to hide things about themselves and their own intentions, but they'll all crack eventually.
Everyone always does hide.
Oh. I suppose it's a petty thing. But did you intend it as a jab when you said the thing about replacing eyes?
Oh, no. Normally that upgrade comes in the form of an actual eye.
Yes. But you said about how people feel about replacements.
Yes, not everyone's okay with it.
Alright. I won't have taken that as malice then.
No. Which is why we started making the lens also a thing.
No. Mine weren't originally unmatching, that's all.
So you're no stranger to body modification. Good.
I'd say that's an understatement.
Well, I've asked you questions. Do you have anything for me?
You plan on stopping this process? Are you planning on trying to return things to some kind of status quo? Or are you intending to leave once the process is stopped?
I intend to help make things go back to a semi-normal.
You'll have to give me your definition of normal at some point.
When there aren't people trying to overcome the bounds of what they're supposed to be doing.
Was there a vague answer? I'll give you time. I don't need it today.
When magic is redistributed.
Alright then.
Once all of that is settled and there isn't any more threat of violence, either divine or mortal, then I will leave.
If you're expecting violence to end, I wish you luck with that. Hopefully you made your shell a bit more capable of living to old age than Oru's.
I'm afraid it takes way too long for me to age. I may be 1,000,000 years old, but I'm still pretty perfect in terms of looks, at least.
It's a large number, that's all.
Yes, well, it's only 1,000,000 in Fey years, at least. In mortal years, all three of us are around 500,000.
In perceived existence, would it be closer to that million then?
No. Sadly, that's still only me.
No, but for you.
If we're counting Fey years, then yes, 1,000,000.
I'm counting your own perception of the progression of time.
Well, my perspective would be the Fey years.
Then that's the answer I needed. No, I know obviously you all would have the same origin point.
We did used to be the same person, after all.
So the difference in age would have to be a difference in either perception of time, or apparently there's time travel now, and I'm going to have to wrap my mind around that as well.
Time travel?
It would be the
Who said
other
anything about time
possibility.
travel?
Well, there would be two possibilities why you could be that much older. Perception of time, or
Oh, no.
fluctuation.
Have you ever been to the Feywild?
No.
If you don't want a headache in terms of time difference, don't. Let's just say things in the Feywild. Time is weird, to put it as an understatement. 2 months in there, 2 minutes in the mortal realm. To set as an example, at least.
Well,
you can live an entire lifetime in the Feywild and come back and it's only been a minute.
Sounds like a place to not tread lightly, then.
No. Because in the Feywild, they do deal in names.
Yes, I was warned about that. And it is part of why I treated you with such suspicion.
Of course. It's understandable, don't get me wrong. Hopefully people don't catch on that Acrinian Fae are different. yet.
Hmm.
And hopefully Oru doesn't let that out. Yet.
Well, I'm not going to interfere with that. I think that's fair enough.
Anything else?
Alright. If I did wish to contact you, what would be the best way to do so?
Well, I would say the soul, but...
Yes. However...
Wait for me to pour a little bit of my domain into this area. Until you see my territory appear, reports or message through Oru for now.
Through Oru. That could be done.
Trust me, it'll be obvious when my territory appears.
Alright then. I'll do
Anything
that.
else?
I need you to understand one thing
Okay.
about this whole deal. I had already intended to protect Oru, and I don't plan on breaking that. However, if push comes to shove, and there is a question to protect either Oru or Ganymede, I will be protecting Ganymede.
Interesting. Okay. I can't exactly control your will.
Well, that's new information to me.
Oh, yes, I'm not heartless.
Also new information. It's not exactly like I was feeling for a pulse.
It was a figure of speech, but yes. Like I said, I treat all of my slings correctly. I will not force what they do not want. And the only time I ever issue a command is when it's absolutely needed. Which, out of the 3 that I have packed with so far, that's only happened once.
What happened with the others?
I didn't need to issue any commands. Like I said, I don't like to.
Are they living? Are they dead? What happened to them?
Oh, that's what you meant. Oh no, they're still alive.
Interesting.
Of course. They live within the garden now. That does not mean they passed on yet. They simply wanted to come along.
Interesting. Well, you've certainly given me food for thought.
Of course.
I will request that, unless it is utterly necessary, to not break into this room.
Understandable.
While I may be able to react appropriately, you'd probably give Ganymede a decent fright.
Yes, that's why I made sure they weren't here before. And no, I don't know where they are.
They'll come back. Well, unless you had any final statements for me, I believe I need time to process everything that's happened today.
Of course. And should you have any more questions for me, feel free to ask.
I was going to either way.
Good. It's always good to be curious. Well, see you later, my sling.
You know what? I'm not fixing that. Fixing. How do I explain this? I need to